Hey guys, myself Rakesh, and in this video we are going to learn tuple. You can call it as a tuple in Python, or many people call it as tuple in Python. Okay, whatever you call doesn't matter, but we need to understand what is tuple and how do you use it. So before that, please do subscribe to my channel Automate with Rakesh, and please do hit on the bell icon to stay up to date. So let's get started and understand. Okay, so first of all, in the previous video, I taught what is a list. For example, if I have to create a list, I'll give it a name called my list. And here, the list will always start from a square bracket. I said in the previous video, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what this is doing, this is holding list of collection of different values in a single variable. Okay, then what is tuple? Right, for example, let me show you and I will make you understand what is this and what is the difference. So if I say my tuple, I've created a variable and the tuple will start with a parenthesis. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now Rakesh, what is the difference? Why do you call this as a tuple and why do you call this as a list? What are the differences? Okay, now first thing, before we understand the differences, let's focus on the syntax. When you are writing a list, right, what did I say? When you're writing a list, you should focus on the word L, right? L. So any list you would like to create should start with a square bracket. So L is a symbolic way. Okay, if you put a dash on the top, right, it appears like a square bracket. So using this L alphabet, I will memorize. Okay, so I have to use a square bracket when I have to use a list. When it comes to tuple, you have to focus on the word P, tuple. So P has a kind of a parenthesis symbol, right? So you have to use a parenthesis symbol in the tuple. So that is all about the memory part. That's simple. But we have to understand what is the exact difference. So let me tell you. For example, if I have to print the list, so what I will say, print the variable name, and if I have to print the tuple, I'll say my tuple and run it. So shift F10 on PyCharm. So the moment I run, what happened? You can see the first one is the list got printed, and the second one is the tuple got printed. Now what is the difference? Let me tell you. So if I ask you, can you add duplicate values in the list? Can you add duplicate values? Yes or no? Yes, we can add. So if I say 5, 5, one more duplicate value, if I add, it will allow. And the same thing also is allowed in a tuple. Duplicate values are allowed in a tuple. For example, if I run this, if it is a problem, it will throw me error, right? Now you can see both the things are allowing duplicate values. Then Rakesh, what is the difference? What is the difference between the tuple and list? So let me tell you, the tuple has an order. For example, the 1 is there in the position number 0, in the index number 0. 2 is there in the index number 1, 3 is there in the index 2, right? 0, 1, 2, 3, and the same thing goes with the list. But in the list, I can interchange the positions. So let me delete this duplicate and show you in demo. I have an option to interchange the order. So I can put 5 in the beginning, I can put 3 anywhere I like, I would like to put 4 anywhere I like. I can change the order of a list. So changing order of values allowed, change of order of values allowed. But in tuple, changing the order is not allowed. I'm not typing the entire word, but the change of values are not allowed. The order, change of what? The order of values is not allowed. For example, let me show you this example. You will be pretty clear. So what happens if I say my list and if I say short, right? And let's say I would like to sort it in a reverse order. So I'll say reverse equals to 1. Okay, and if I run this, what happens? The entire list will be printed in the reverse order. Let me use the print command. Print my list. Okay, so if I do this, if I run it, what happens? The entire order, I mean the value which was there in the position number, index number 4, now it has moved to the beginning. So the placing the values in different order is possible, right? But the same thing is not possible with a tuple. For example, if you type my tuple right? And there is no method called sort. Okay, if you see, there's no method called sort, but in case you go about typing it and say reverse equals to 1, if you go about typing it, if you run it, it will throw immediately a error, attribute error. Tuple object has no attribute sort, so you cannot really change the order of the value. So this is one of the point in tuple that makes it very different from the list where we can change the orders. Now in tuple we cannot change the order. Duplicate values are allowed in both of them. Okay, I can have a duplicate value in list, I can have a duplicate value in tuple, but changing the order of the values is not allowed in any means, right? For example, in my list, I can insert a value anywhere I like. For example, let's say I can remove the value, right? All these things I can do with the list. Remove value, insert value. Let's say I would like to insert in the position number 2, I would like to insert in the index number 2, I would like to insert 100. So this is possible with a list, right? So list is always can be changed. You can have duplicate values, you can mute it, right? Mutable is possible, you can change the values of it. Now print my list, right? If I do this and if I run this, what happened? 100 can be added. So the 3 was having in the position of here, that has been replaced with a different value. So the order, the position value, everything can be changed. So it's completely changeable. Remove, delete, add, right, clear, all these things are possible. But with tuple these things are not possible, because the moment you type tuple and hit on a dot, there are two different options which are available. One is the count, the other one is index. For example, how the count works, let me show you. So count, let's say I would like to know the count of 1 in the tuple. So the value, okay, count of 1, and here if I say print, okay, and do a try to execute, you can see the 1 is available one time. If I say write 1, because duplicate is allowed in a tuple, so let's say I'm going to write 1 couple of times, and now if I run it, it will say the 1 value is available 3 times in the tuple. Okay, so the very minimal methods are available with the tuple. Now you would say, Rakesh, what is the practical use when we can do all these things with list? Why we have to really use a tuple? So let me tell you, tuple should be chosen. I mean, you should use the tuple kind of a data type only when you feel the once it is created, you don't have to really change it, right? For example, what is a practical example? Let me show you the practical example of a tuple. Let's say my tuple top ranks. So what I'm doing, I'm creating a variable called top ranks. So in the top ranks, what would happen? The tuple has to always start with a parenthesis. You have to remember the word p, right? Parenthesis. Okay, now here the top rank, let's say top 3 ranks. Okay, my tuple top 3 ranks I have written the variable. So here the this will remain definite, right? You will not change it every time. I mean, this year who are the toppers? Let's say Rakesh. Wow, I'm a topper. Okay, John. So this values won't change, right? This values won't change, this would remain. These are the 3 toppers. Let's say Rahul. Okay, so if I'm writing this, what is happening? These are the 3 different toppers which would remain constant. This won't change its value, this will not change its position. Rahul will not become the rank 1, or Rakesh will not become this one. For this year, this is the result. Maybe next year he might be, right? So in such a condition, you will be using a tuple where you don't have to change the values, or you don't have to really change, or there will be no need of changing the order. In such a situation, you should go for a tuple. That is a practical use case what I'm talking about. Okay, so you understood how to define a tuple, you understood that duplicate values are allowed in a tuple, right? And you understood that the order cannot be changed. You cannot put Rahul at the beginning. Once it is created, it's all done. If I'm going to the next line, that means this is all done. Only you can come to the code and change it. But again, in terms of writing a code and adding, inserting values, clearing the value, remove, right, all those methods are not available with tuple. Okay, what is available with list? In the list, if you see, if you put a dot, there are multiple things you can do: count, index, insert, extend, clear, remove, append, sort, copy. All these things can be done, right? But the same thing is not possible with tuple. Okay, cannot add, remove items. You cannot add or remove items once it's created. When you are running the program, you cannot with the code you cannot add values. Nothing can be done with the tuple. So that's the use of tuple in short, guys. Thank you very much. But there are also ways you can convert the tuple into a string and into a list, and from the list you can add new values to it. So all these tricks are available, which I'm going to show you later. But again, this should be your understanding. What is a tuple? Tuple has to start with a parenthesis, and the list always starts with a square bracket. List has complete flexibility. It can have duplicates, it can change its order, it can change the value positions, everything can be done, right? In the tuple, it cannot be done on, you cannot change the order. Once created, it will remain as it is. Okay, you don't have a method to add new values, you do not have a method to remove values, so it's just fixed one, and it should only be used where it is really required. For example, top 3 ranks of a college, right? For so and so year, so that remains constant, that won't change until next year. So in such a case, you can go for this kind of a variable. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you have got an understanding and got a understanding of the difference between the list and tuple. So thank you for watching. I'm going to come up with more such interesting concepts around Python which you love to learn. Thank you guys. So stay connected. Please do subscribe to my channel, and please do hit on the bell icon to stay up to date. Thank you guys. Take care. Bye bye.